Hello, I'm the Picking Pythagorean, and this is the Myers Method of Music. So you want to learn guitar? Well, this is the best place to start. There are only 8 essential open chords to be learned on acoustic: C, A, G, E, and D major, as well as A, E, and D minor. With these 8 chords, you can literally play hundreds of songs. Today, I'm going to teach you 3 of these chords and a song. The chords will be G, C, and D major. The song is Leaving on a Jet Plane. Now, this might not be your favorite song, but if you learn it, you will be learning 3 of the most basic guitar chords there are. This will open the door to new songs that you do like. So stay with me on this first lesson. First, we'll learn the chords separately. The notes in the chord G major are G, B, and D. The diagram for the guitar chord looks like this. Notice that the diagram looks exactly like the first few frets of your guitar. These are the strings. These are the frets. The numbers correspond to your left hand. Let's start from the high E and work our way up the strings to make the chord. You will start by placing your pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string. Then your 3rd finger goes right next to it on the 3rd fret of the B string. The G and D strings are left open and should ring out. Now, the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and finally the 2nd or middle finger being placed on the low E string 3rd fret. When played, it should sound like this. If it doesn't, try to figure out which string is not ringing by playing each one separately. If one of the notes that is fretted is not ringing, try pressing down harder on the strings. If one of the open notes is not ringing, check to see if one of your fingers is touching the open strings and keeping them from ringing out. If your G chord sounds like this, then congratulations, you just learned a G chord. Now, if you need to pause the video and work on your G chord, go ahead. If not, let's move on to C. C chord. The chord diagram and tablature of a C chord look like this. Now we'll work through each string, starting with the high E string. The high E string isn't fretted and should be left open to ring out. The 1st finger will be placed on the 1st fret of the B string. The G is not fretted and should be left open to ring out. Your middle finger will be placed on the 2nd fret of the D string. And finally, your 3rd finger will be placed on the 3rd fret of the A string. The low E string is not fretted, and most players mute it or simply avoid striking it while strumming. Your C chord should sound like this. If it doesn't, check each string to make sure the note rings clean and clear. If one of the notes that is fretted is not ringing, try pressing down harder on the strings. If one of the open notes is not ringing, check to see if one of your fingers is touching the open strings and keeping them from ringing out.
If
your C chord sounds like this, then congratulations, you just learned a C chord. Once again, if you need to pause, feel free to do so. Chords are not easy in the beginning, so don't be concerned if this is taking a while. You may even have to stop here and work on these two chords over a period of time. That's fine. Just make sure you save the video so that you can find it again. And now we'll move on to D major. Learning a D chord. A D chord contains the notes D, F sharp, and A. The chord diagram and tablature look like this. Now, we'll work through each string starting with the high E string. Your middle finger will be placed on the 2nd fret of the high E string. Your third finger will be placed on the 3rd fret of the B string. Your first finger will be placed on the 2nd fret of the G string. The D string is not fretted and is left to ring open. The A and low E strings are not fretted, and most players mute them or simply avoid striking them while strumming. Your D chord should sound like this. If it doesn't, check each string to make sure the note rings clean and clear. If one of the notes that is fretted is not ringing, try pressing down harder on the strings. If one of the open notes is not ringing, check to see if one of your fingers is touching the open strings and keeping them from ringing out. If your D chord sounds like this, then congratulations, you just learned a D chord. Now you know all 3 chords and can look at the strumming pattern. It's a very simple pattern that continues throughout the entire song. This is a great way to learn to strum. Just pick a simple pattern and play it over and over. The up and down strokes are down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, let's play the first verse slow, just strumming once for each chord change. All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye. Now we'll try it again with the strum pattern. All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye. Okay, if you've learned the chords and you have the rhythm, move on to the song, which is in the link below this video. If you can't get the rhythm, then try this. Turn the chords into single notes. So for the G chord, just play the G note. And for the C chord, just play the C note. And for the D chord, just play the D note. So we're going to hold the chord with our fingers, but we're only going to pick the first note of each chord. Here is a tab example of the rhythm of measure 1. Notice the pick strokes. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, we'll play the measure slow 2 times. Now we'll speed it up. Now we'll look at measure 2. Same rhythm, different note. Play this 2 times slow. Now 2 times at full speed. This same pattern repeats 3 times like this. your hand can't quite make the chord in time, like this, then slow down the tempo until you can make the chord in time. Now we change to the D major for 2 measures. Same rhythm, different note. Let's put them all together now. Here are the first 8 measures of Leaving on a Jet Plane in single notes only. Notice, if you ever wanted to play bass, this would be a perfectly good bass line for this song. First, we'll play them slow. Now at full speed. If you made it through that, congratulations. It wasn't easy. I'm throwing a lot of new things at you today, so if you need to break here, feel free to do so. Or if you don't feel confident moving forward, watch the video again from the beginning. Sometimes the second time around makes more sense. Now let's take that same single note and extend it to more strings. This time, instead of single notes, we strum 4 strings like this. Notice that I always play the root note, our single note from before, first and never the string before it. So with a D chord, you focus on the D string and not the open A above it, even though the open A is in the chord. You don't have to mute the open A when you play a D major chord, but try to focus most of your attacks on the D string. Okay, so let's play our new tab slow. Now we'll play it at full speed. At this point, you just extend the chords to include a few more strings. Here it is at full speed with all the strings.
All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I had to wake you up to say goodbye.
If you can successfully play the progression at full speed, you're ready to move on to the song. If you can't, don't worry. This is a short video and there's a lot of info in here. Try taking a few days to think about what you've learned. Maybe play your guitar and work on the chords and progression, then come back and watch it again. Or try to play along with the acoustic guitar tab version of the song. All the diagrams for the chords, tab, and strumming patterns are on screen. Thanks for joining me on this first lesson. This is the Picking Pythagorean, and I hope you enjoyed this video.